The teacher's regret. The first day of school always carried a certain buzz, laughter in the hallways, the shuffle of new shoes, and the nervous excitement of another year. But for Mr. David Collins, it was just another reminder of time slipping away. He'd been teaching English literature for almost 20 years at Crestwood High, a man of discipline, known for his strict rules and high expectations. Students respected him, but they feared him too. He rarely smiled, never tolerated lateness, and believed failure was a choice. To most, he was Mr. Collins, the tough teacher. But behind the stern face and crisp shirts was a man haunted by a past mistake, one that had cost him far more than he'd ever admit. It all began 7 years ago. Back then, one of his students, Ethan Miles, stood out, not because he was brilliant, but because he was different. Ethan was quiet, shy, and often distracted. He'd sit in the last row, doodling in his notebook instead of taking notes. His grades were poor, his essays half-finished. Mr. Collins had no patience for it. One afternoon after Ethan failed to submit another assignment, Mr. Collins snapped. "Ethan," he said coldly, "you're wasting everyone's time, including your own. If you can't take responsibility for your future, you'll end up with nothing." The class fell silent. Ethan stared down at his desk, humiliated. Later that day, the school counselor, Mrs. Carter, approached Mr. Collins in the teacher's lounge. "David," she said softly, "go easy on Ethan. He's going through a lot at home." Mr. Collins frowned. "We're all going through something. Excuses won't help him pass." Mrs. Carter sighed. "His mother's been battling cancer. He's taking care of her and his little sister alone." For a moment, David froze, guilt creeping into his chest. But pride was stronger. He simply said, "If he wants sympathy, he's in the wrong class. I teach discipline." And with that, he walked away. 2 weeks later, Ethan stopped coming to school. Rumors spread his mother's condition had worsened. Then one morning, a notice appeared on the bulletin board, "In loving memory of Ethan Miles, age 17. Mr. Collins stood there staring at the paper, his throat tightening, heart pounding. Ethan's mother had passed away, and 2 days later, so had Ethan. They said it was an accident, a car crash late at night, but some whispered it wasn't. For the first time in years, David felt something break inside him. He attended the funeral quietly, standing in the back. There weren't many people there, just a few neighbors, some classmates, and Ethan's little sister Lily, who couldn't have been more than 10. She approached him after the ceremony, holding a small notebook. "You're Mr. Collins, right?" she asked softly. He nodded, voice trembling. "Yes, I was Ethan's teacher." She handed him the notebook. "He wanted you to read this." David hesitated, then took it gently. When he opened the first page, the words hit him like a blow. "Dear Mr. Collins, I know I wasn't a good student, but I wanted to thank you for never giving up on us, even when we gave up on ourselves. I promise I'll do better, for Mom, for Lily, and for me." The rest of the pages were filled with unfinished poems and short stories, raw, emotional, and beautiful. Tears filled David's eyes. He realized Ethan wasn't lazy. He was drowning, and no one had reached out a hand. Years passed, but David never forgot that boy. He kept Ethan's notebook locked in his desk drawer, reading it whenever he felt lost. It changed him. He started noticing his students more, their silence, their struggles, their unspoken pain. He began to listen before judging, to guide instead of scold. And little by little, Mr. Collins, the strict teacher, became Mr. Collins, the mentor. Then one morning, 7 years later, as David sat grading papers, there was a knock on his classroom door. "Come in," he said without looking up. A young woman stepped in, confident, smiling, holding a small gift bag. "Mr. Collins," she said. He looked up, puzzled. "Yes, I'm Lily Miles," she said softly, "Ethan's sister." For a moment he just stared. The last time he'd seen her, she was a grieving child. Now she was grown, strong, radiant. "I wanted to thank you," she continued. "After Ethan died, I found his notebook. I read every story. You kept it alive in your classroom, didn't you? He smiled faintly. I did. His words reminded me what teaching really means. Lily nodded, eyes shimmering. I thought you should know. I became a writer. My first book is dedicated to Ethan, and to the teacher who believed in him, even when it was too late. She handed him a small wrapped book. The title read, The Unfinished Stories by Lily Miles, and beneath it a dedication. For Ethan, who taught me love never dies, and for Mr. Collins, who taught me that second chances aren't just for students. David's hands trembled as he turned the pages. Every story carried Ethan's voice, alive again through his sister's words. For the first time in years, he smiled, not out of pride, but peace. He realized something profound that day. Teaching wasn't about grades or rules. It was about hearts, and the ones you save without even knowing it. That evening, David locked his classroom, carrying Lily's book home with him. He placed it next to Ethan's old notebook on his desk. Then he whispered, You kept your promise, Ethan. You did better. A tear rolled down his cheek. But this time, it wasn't from regret. It was from gratitude.